Sheet Saber are going to be going through this 5-gamer, which is basically mostly a 1-gamer. And literally, you're going to see every ownership projection completely transform when we actually get a starting lineup. Because I have looked at different sites, I have looked at different things, and there are wildly different projections for minutes on this thing, which is exactly what I was sort of leading into earlier. So we got to see what the starting lineup is, but certainly an interestingly strange spot on a 5-game slate.
Yep.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, how much does it really matter who starts? I guess it has to.
Yeah, it really matters, I think, because I mean they still could be getting blowout run, but like Anthony Gill is just not a guy you generally want to play for fantasy purposes. Obviously, neither is Johnny Davis, but like if I'm them, I'm taking the guy who I took with the 10th overall pick 2 years ago. I'll play that guy down the stretch of during the season. I don't need to have any investment in anyone other than him, Jordan Poole, Corey Kispert, if I'm the team. But there's no guarantee that Rashawn Holmes will start against a team that plays small. It'd be interesting to see where his ownership is because I actually think he's looking like he might be lower owned than the other guys. So that's an interesting one to go for. And we probably will get the starting lineup, while we're on air here. So it's going to dictate. I think a fair bit.
I mean, there's Justin Champagne, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Jared Butler, Jordan Poole, Jules Bernard, anybody with a Washington jersey.
Yeah, there's only 9 of them available tonight, so that helps. And it's hard because I'm listening to other shows, I'm watching other stuff, and people keep saying this thing about, this is a 0.5 fantasy point per minute. This is this. Nothing is like that. You know what I mean? This is just a totally different situation. You can't try to take what's happened in the past. For example, if Johnny Davis starts as horrible as he's been, why am I just not going to play him because of some numbers that have nothing to do with it? Like those are his numbers with Kuzma, Poole, Abdia.
I know that's ridiculous. I mean, like,
so yeah, we can't compare those things. We just have to treat it like a totally unique situation. Anyway, but I do think that it's going to be hard to get away. Like I'm having a hard time. Less than 4, 3 might be the right number, but you got to make sure you get the right 3. And the problem is if 3 are the right number enough, like if you play Kispert, Holmes, and Poole, for example, then it probably means a 4th one is good because it means the game is probably close enough. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Who do you like the most on the Houston side?
So I think there's a couple different ways to go. I like Van Vliet and I like Jalen Green. I actually like Jabari Smith maybe a little bit more than most, even though he hasn't been great lately. But I love Amen Thompson. I'm just going to ride this. I think there's a chance for him to get certain blowout run if things do work out that way. I think they want to get him reps. I don't think this is a matchup that's going to require them not to play him minutes. And he's extremely active against a team where being extremely active is probably the best team to be extremely active against. So I really like Amen Thompson. I like the idea of pairing him with one of Green or Van Vliet, and then running it back with 4 Wizards, and then you have to decide on the 2-man because it's pretty easy to play Luka, who I think is going to end up like 50% owned. I really.
Oh yeah.
And I think maybe the way to do it is instead of playing Luka, and let's say you had the game stack and you have Luka and Derek Lively in your last 2 spots. Maybe you can get away with Kyrie Irving and Devin Vassell. The problem is that's not even going to be low owned. So,
but what about Wemby?
So Wemby you could throw in that same mix as well. So you throw you play Wemby with what I guess you have a 9K guy or an 8K guy in that case. TJ, don't say Amen Thompson better go off. Why is that the case? Why are we getting that right away? Why did he better go off? I like Amen Thompson. There is no rule that you have to play him tonight. I want to make that clear, but I like him, so I am playing him. But I don't know why he has to go off. People get so frustrated with this guy. These 20-year-old kids. Somebody freaked out about him in the first quarter of a game the other night, and he ended up with I think like 36 or something like that, and was totally fine. Anyway. I'm a little too in love with Amen Thompson in general. And I like that they're playing him at center a lot of the time. 46 that night. Sorry, not 36. But yeah, I'm gonna embrace all the variants, and then whatever he's owned, I still think that at 5,900, I'm just gonna play him. All right. So yeah, I think that's how you start your builds. Are the Houston and Washington side, obviously, and it's really about finding those different plays. You mentioned Wemby, but Wemby is going to be pretty popular tonight, I think.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, and they got him at 20%.
Okay, that 5 game slate, that's not the end of the world, though.
Right. The problem is the rest of yours are all going to be chalk, so you're not going to get all different. Whereas like Anthony Edwards, who's 9,800 in a game, look, I don't care that these guys are all questionable. If these guys are able to play, they're gonna play. Okay. Yeah. You don't skip this game of all games. You don't sit this one out and say, oh, scheduling loss. Now you're playing at home. You got Denver at home. This is the most important game of your season to this point. I like the idea of using a low-owned Edwards. I like a little bit the idea, depending on if we may not know about Gobert. But if I heard that right now that Naz Reid was a go and Gobert wasn't, I would definitely be playing Naz Reid, even at 7,500. And Jokic is going to be the lower owned of the two between Luka, but I think that that's going to be the natural thing. I think it's going to be, we're going to play Luka, Jokic, or Wemby. I think that's the way that it's going to shift out. So anything you do different than that should theoretically be at least a little different. At least give you a shot in single entry or large buy-in, small field stuff. That's where the way I'm looking at it. But some of the plays we talked about earlier, I don't think Zion and Ingram are going to be especially high owned. I know no one's playing CJ McCollum. That's a really interesting one. We have a history of CJ McCollum in Brooklyn before he got married, though.
You remember that?
Yeah, that was a real look, dude. He took up his most shots every year and won a bunch of money. Won me in 6 figures that one night. That was pretty sweet.
That was really funny.
It's pretty funny. It was like, anyway. But one thing I know for sure as of right now is I just don't have anybody I have in this Orlando Charlotte game. Even though I think like you could make a case like maybe Franz at low ownership. Paolo's kind of pricey, but Cole Anthony is an interesting like additional value play if you want to go that direction. I don't mind it. I just don't have anything that I really love.
Yeah, I'm getting like sprinkles, like 10% of like Wendell Carter Jr.
Oh yeah.
Like nothing major. I'm getting like again my usual couple of lineups with Mitchicks.
Yeah.
A lineup or two with Cole Anthony, as I mentioned earlier. Brandon Miller, I have a lineup or two with him. And I got like one lineup with Jonathan Isaac.
I'm wondering, it's interesting. It's reachy because they have all the guards there, but like I'm just wondering maybe why not Cole Anthony or the even weirder play. I don't think I could do the Fultz thing, but it's close. Like it's not that crazy. I'm just trying to find something to get a little weird. I don't think it's a slate where you have to try and build a whole different narrative for anything. I think you try to get different in a few spots. And like I said, I'm flirting with the Kyrie Vassal thing. I'm flirting with Zion and Ingram, and I'm definitely flirting with this Anthony Edwards play. Yeah, that's where I'm at. It is the third and four nights. It's obviously not a good like statistical matchup, but the fact is Anthony Edwards' usage has been out of this world, and most of his big performances have been coming against these tough matchups. Not all of them, but
right.
A good portion of them. So I really like the idea of getting overweight a guy who's going to be sub 10%, who's put up nothing less than 53 basically outside of one game with the current situation without Towns.
You like you mentioned in passing, you like Jock Landale as a play at all?
Other people are on this one. I'm trying to figure out why. And like unless they did something weird and started him and brought Amen off the bench, which they could do. They've done that before. It's just hard for me to like. I don't know. Like I guess he's a similar play to the Derek Lively play.
Yeah.
So just both are fine. I don't not going out of my way to get them. I'm okay with ending up with them. Yeah, that dunk was nuts, and They did a whole thing on this podcast I was listening to today about how anyone who's trying to argue that's not a dunk, we already know. You're announcing what age you are to us, basically.
Yeah, that's true. It is true.
It has gotten a lot of pub that dunk. I was trying to think of other things from the Minnesota Denver game because it's such an important game, and Jokic is going to have the ownership, but I don't know if people are actually going to click Jamal Murray.
That's an idea.
Yeah. And I think I could get myself into that one a little bit. But I'm still struggling deciding, and I'm going to let the Houston-Washington starting lineups come out before I decide anything, because it will dictate for me a little bit of what I want to do, starting with Holmes. I'd like to know if he's starting. But it's pretty wild to see a slate. I mean, you've got Anthony Gill now just shot up in projections. What happened? Uh-oh, there must be speculation that he's starting or something.
Uh-oh, speculation.
I had him at like 13, and now he's at 19. The problem is a lot of these guys are kind of interchangeable too. And how do you play as a team? You're at home. You kind of want to put your best foot forward. In a season that's over, you have no chance. You're going to lose the game probably anyway. Don't you just maybe play like Jules Bernard has played well in the G League, so he could be one. That's I could kind of understand that one. Patrick Baldwin, I think is to me, if he starts, is a guy I'm probably just going to play because I actually think he gets the minutes almost no matter what. Champagny is the other one that I like at the value. The ones that I'm a little skeptical on are the Gill. I would be skeptical if anyone was playing Johnny Davis, but because no one is, it's like one of those things where if I was max entering, I would make sure I had at least 10% or 15% of them or something, because he's going to be 1% owned. And there's no reason why he couldn't be the highest. He might even be the highest scoring wizard. And I know he sucks, but still, that's it.
Yeah, the highest scoring wizard when they get 68 total. I mean,
yeah, I guess that's his point. But then the other one is a real player, which is Kispert. And for some reason, the projections really hate Kispert tonight. I like the idea of maybe doing that. You know what I mean? Maybe playing and hoping the game does stay close. That Kispert and Poole, and I think Holmes would be, or Champagny, I guess the other ones. But yeah, I mean, Kispert is going to be sub 10%, and the projection's really low, but he can get hot. I don't know. So
that's the thing. In these games, there's no, there's no pressure. These guys have no shame. Just shoot.
Yeah. And I got a question here from D Pope. He's asking, is his approach tonight warranted? And he's running sims, sorting by our RAROI with 2 min uniques, and then after lock late run and late swap.
I like it.
That sounds like it makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
There we go. We're in agreement. Yeah, now we just need a starting lineup from Washington, and we can figure out what the hell's happening. But I mean, this is not going to be a major late swapping night. You're going to have a 2v2 or something. But everybody's going to come. You could try to build all the sims you want. You're not going to see many with less than 5 or 6 from that Houston, Washington.
You're right.
Yeah, but a Luka Wemby stack, that's actually, I don't even think that's off the board. I think it's the chalky thing to do. So easy to do. And I actually, I'm not against it. I just don't think you're doing anything different by doing that. I'm not showing Wemby as anything off the board right now, but it's pretty easy to play him and Luka together, I have to say. So it gets a little bit, maybe a little bit more cringy with the Luka and Jokic together, but with Jokic, you could end up with 180 from those two guys. Wemby is possible, but it's harder to do. Certain match from the first game. There's 2. What does that mean? The first games are starting at the same time. So if you're referring to Charlotte, Orlando, I'm not playing anybody from that game, but I have no issue if you want to take the shots we talked about.
If you listen, for me, if I get like you brought up, Bobby, it's not going to have that many swaps late, just even available.
Yep.
So I have no problem if you want to play someone from the Orlando Charlotte game. You're not really like saving anything, Like if it turns out to be a good play, you're probably playing the 7:00, 7:30 game anyway, or whatever the other 7:00 game. So
right. I've got some really different lineups that make some sense here. Like, so I can play like Edwards. I can just do the exact chalk, the chalkiest plays from Houston, Washington, and play like Edwards and McCollum or Edwards and Claxton. And I think that that's a pretty reasonable route. Like, I really do. Because you just need to get different with something. You don't need everything to be different. Just find those little pieces. No, you don't think about there's no tonight. I think Sheets will agree with me. There's no such thing as a max number of Washington players. I don't think. I really don't. And it's different every slate. It's never something that should be looked at.
Every slate, though. I mean, like everybody really wants to know the maximum amount or whatever. I don't think it's.
I don't think on 9-game, 10-game slates where everybody's got 11 bodies healthy that you should be playing 6 from a team.
I guess not.
I don't know if I've ever seen it win, but maybe it has.
I think it has.
It probably has when like everybody else was out and they have 8 or something. I don't know if it has when they've had like 10 or 11.
Right.
All right. Hold on one second here.
Yep.
All right. Guys, fire in any other thoughts or questions, but it's going to be really hard to address that game for me until the starting lineups are there. But it is interesting because we must have some speculation on the starting lineups because the projections did change quite a bit. And the lineup that they're projecting now is actually what I would have thought was a starting lineup, where the one they've been projecting all day I did not agree with.
Yeah, but like, what they're projecting, Anthony Gill starting or something?
No. Baldwin, Kispert, Champagny, Poole, and Holmes.
Yeah.
The difference is if I were them, and I don't understand why they don't do this, look, if you take a guy this early and he sucks, at least show people that he sucks. Don't let them just hear about it, let him play. Let Johnny Davis play. Wemby and Joker together is totally fine. I actually think that's a more interesting build. I think that Luka and Wemby will be more common than Wemby and Jokic. So that's kind of interesting to me. God, it's such a great matchup for Luka. The only thing is it's been the Kyrie show a little bit lately in Dallas.
See any changes here? Let's see. No, it's stupid. We just gotta wait for starters.
Yeah, I think we just gotta wait for starters. If both Gobert and Reed are out for Minnesota, Jokic will feast. He'll feast anyway. It doesn't really.
He'll feast anyway.
It doesn't mean anything. Gobert is not like straight up defender like that. It's like, it gives him so much trouble. Yeah, the size and length, definitely it's better to have than not, but it's not like you can't go crazy. And I actually don't think that if Naz Reid is out, that helps them in any way, because then that just means that you're doubling him, which hurts him fantasy-wise. And they would, I think, double him a lot because they don't have anybody else big enough to guard him. Luka guards. Actually, that's the other thing. That's one thing you could do. If you really think that Jokic, I don't think Gobert's sitting. If you really think but Naz Reid genuinely got hurt last night, so I don't know about him. But I don't think Gobert is actually going to sit again. If somehow he was out though, and Naz Reid was out, Luka Garza would be the highest projected player on the slate by a lot.
Garza?
Yeah, he's 3,200. He's the only one with any size that they can.
Well, if in fact you got the news early enough, though, I mean.
Yeah, you won't have it. It's just a crazy gamble. That could really pay off. By the way, like that's not against that. That's another one of those weird things you could do. But there's a really good chance that he plays like 6 minutes.
Well, starters are out for Orlando. That's something.
Yeah, they've been out for a while. Orlando's really good.
They come out like 8 a.m.
They do, exactly. Before we go live early on.
Cam Thomas had a good game the other day, I think.
Cam Thomas.
Probably some guys out, I think.
He just, he is a gunner. He could always, get hot. It's not like the worst thing in the world. It's not like they're going to put what's his name on him. I guess Herb Jones will be on him some.
Any chance they put these starters out before like 6:40? That would be nice.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Just one of those things. Kyrie will definitely not be more owned than Luka. Let me just make that absolutely clear. There is not a world in where Kyrie is more owned than Luka. So don't speculate on that. It's not possible.
It is not.
Can you have Luka, Wemby, and Ant? I don't know. Go ahead and build it. You could do it. It's ugly. Nah. I mean, then you're just sort of asking for it. In general, like stars and scrubs, like they work when you have like multiple scrubs are going to get there. The problem with these guys, remember I kept saying last week about how the problem of fading these guys is they're all going to 10x. Now this slate, we don't have enough other value. But I know 2 of these guys are like 10x. The rest of them I have, and it's really hard to know which one it's going to be, just because it's something we've never seen before with the Washington Houston.
Everybody, just so you guys know, the hockey projections are up in case anybody was interested in that. Spoke to the squad this afternoon, by the way.
Oh, how'd it go?
I thought it went great.
Great. That's awesome.
If anybody sees any news, feel free to fire it up. Anybody has any questions, feel free to fire it. This is we're just waiting. I'm updating projections just because I have the time, but they're just going to have to go again anyway.
Yeah.
And nothing from our other friends, right?
From our other friends?
Yeah.
What?
The love letter we had to send? Any?
Oh no, no response, and I think that I think that they're going to be afraid after reading the letter. To be honest with you. More on than Luke. No. I don't understand what you're saying, Deep Pope. I'm sorry.
There's some big old ownership projections in some of these Washington guys. I'm seeing
it's going to be nuts.
I mean, you guys won. You could try to limit the Washingtons, but I can't see that being the right thing to do.
Okay, let's see. These builds already look like they're going to have they're going to have more than 3 or 4. Sticking with 2 of those value guys is a good way to get different. I don't think so. No, I think you play 3 wizards no matter what minimum. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I think really the only thing you can do is stuff that you talked about, like do stuff like instead of Luka, do stuff like Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm. I do think you could take a shot on the lower owned Washington guys, which will be, it depends on who starts, but will be Holmes, possibly. Kispert maybe owned. Johnny Davis. I think gambling on those guys is probably worth it. I mean, just think about it. Johnny Davis has a 2.5 point, in a totally speculative situation, a 2.5 point lower projection than Bernard. Okay. Yet Bernard is projected to be, or Gill. Let's just use Gill as an example. Both those guys are projected to be like 30% owned. Johnny Davis is projected to be 1% owned, and the projection is 2.5 fantasy points on a totally speculative situation.
Yeah, I think that they're all going to be similarly owned.
Not Johnny Davis, unless he starts. No.
I mean, if he's got that kind of projection, he sort of has to be, though, doesn't he? I mean,
if he's projected as the 9th best,
no, but if he's only like 2 points worse than the other ones,
well, they're not going to do it because they're already playing all the other Wizards.
Right, I guess so.
And I don't think any optimizer is going to spit him out.
Right.
But there is a chance. I mean, he is that, like, there is actually, like, they made a stupid pick with him, but I kind of wish it was like an early, like this game was after lock and we could speculate, because I actually think they might end up starting. But I don't know. They're a terribly run franchise, so me trying to guess what they're going to do is tough.
Well, we'll know probably at like 6:58, so I'm not worried about it.
2 minutes, plenty of time. What's up, Dwayne? Dwayne. Sorry.
Nothing like the with the starters uniforms and stuff like that, or anything like that.
No, I mean it's weird. It's like I'm just gonna look on Twitter here, see if I can find anything.
Any leans? Anything? Anybody at the game? Anybody sees anything? All it's doing is saving us 5 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes when there's late decisions, like people kind of just freak themselves out.
Yeah, that's true. They're like Johnny Davis starting 75% owned. Huh? Wait.
Okay.
How did Banton end up doing last night coming off the bench? Anything?
I think he had like 30 or so. I'm not 100% sure. Somewhere around there, though. It was fine. I actually made money last night, which was nice for a change. Not much, but I made a little bit. What's the Washington blowout theory? All right. I look, Jack Londale, as we talked about earlier, is definitely like a guy you could take a shot on. I think it's a little grimmer than maybe most do. I do think he's very active. There's a blowout possibility, so sure. But Houston has 12 guys projected to play tonight. And Londale is not going to start unless they do something weird. But again, we'll know that before lock. So let's see what they start with, and maybe then we can figure it out. But right now, I got no starters, except for Orlando, of course.
The good news, everybody, is when they're in the playoffs, they'll have like 8-man rotations. Everyone will play 40 minutes.
Yeah. Starting Butler and Davis, says Beyond the Rabbit Hole, but we haven't seen that yet. Oh, interesting. So see how my speculation would have paid off? I don't know if that's true, but if we can you confirm that Beyond the Rabbit Hole?
What?
He said starting Butler and Davis. I don't know whether he saw that or where that's coming from, because that's what I thought it was coming from. Taking a look at the Twitter stuff. I don't see anything official. Dr. CC asking, how do we feel about McCollum and Murray on this slate? I think they're really good differentiators. They would not hit my lineup on a big slate today, like today, if today was a big slate. But I think because of their low ownership, I think they're interesting. Sheets, any interest in McCollum or Murray? I mean, you might probably end up with a little.
Yeah,
bit.
Sure. Why not? Yeah, no starters as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
You could fade Poole if you want.
Yeah.
I guess.
He's my favorite one, but yeah, good.
They just lost to these guys by like $1 billion. I don't know.
I know. And Yeah, and it's not like they're like some awesome at home team. I mean, it's hard to ignore that Poole's like usage not only will go up, but like his last 2 games, it was 33 and 41%. That's like insane. That's like Russell Westbrook when he was playing with OKC usage. Oh, okay, yeah. Just say, yeah. There you go. If not Davis, how do we feel about Bernard? So again, I will default to I would rather see him starting. I don't feel like it's any sort of a lock play. And I probably will end up with a decent amount of them. The 4 Wizards I have the most right now are Poole, Champagny, Baldwin, and Holmes right now. But I'm open to the Bernard, to the Davis, to the Gill, and Butler. But I'd like to know who's starting before I decide. All right. All right. All right. Poole, Davis. Here we go. Poole, Davis, Kispert, Baldwin, Holmes confirmed starting. There it is. See what money I could have made on the Davis idea?
Yeah. Oh, Davis is starting, you're saying?
Yeah. I like this Ian's comment. He said Poole reminds him of his dad, extremely unpredictable. Just a funny comment. All right. Let's see. So I want to see the actual lineup before I totally click it in, but that's annoying too because there's the speculative stuff that's out the window now. I'm curious where the
so who's he starting instead of? Like else were people thinking?
They thought everybody, every different site had a different starting lineup. Well, Champagne's not starting.
Oh, well, there you go.
And Baldwin is, and Butler was speculated earlier, then it switched to Baldwin, and now it's Baldwin.
Okay.
So that's what I've got. I don't know what else that means. In a funny way, you could argue that still like now maybe fading him. I'm just curious where the ownership's going to be. Now maybe fading Johnny Davis is the right idea because you get Butler off the bench or Champagny or whatever, or Jules Bernard, any of them actually, to be honest with you, they're going to be lower owned just because they're off the bench. And I just can't imagine projections are not going to have him ranked higher.
What are they, 9 people?
They've got 9. There's a chance a 10th might be available, but we haven't gotten any word or projection on that yet. It just was a speculated thing that I've heard talked around, but I haven't seen anything about anybody else being there. Yeah, so Johnny Davis is gonna my little sneakiness all day. There it goes.
Well, you should have bet the over and
I know. True story. I really should have. Although, to be honest, Johnny Davis is no guarantee to get the over.
Wow.
I don't know what Depot. Can you clarify what you're saying, man? I'm just trying to understand a little bit. It says sheets. I'm not going by SS projections, so if I feel confident, I can run my Sims by my first 5,000 lineup build?
Yeah, that's fine.
So he's just asking. Oh, he's asking if the first run. I got.
Yeah,
you.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I didn't understand the question. Sorry, never mind, Depot.
Trey Mann is in if anybody cares.
Yeah. It makes Mitch is a little less of a play. She wasn't really anyway, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to probably. Okay, so anybody else want a weird value somewhere else? So just throw out there. Like again, it's ridiculous, but why not take a shot with Poku in addition to the other value? If you're going to do the Luka and another spend up and you want another value piece, I think you could argue for Poku. Just my personal take. Has been getting regular minutes. They're probably going to get smoked. Could be interesting.
Of the bench guys, Butler, Bernard, Champagne, or Gill, who are your favorites?
As of right now, I would say Champagne, but I'm certainly open to the Bernard Butler more than I am the Gill. All right, let's update here. Yeah, I think that. Boy, this is a weird one. All right, so if I do, what if I just don't fade Davis? No, I do fade Davis. I mean, now we also just one thing to confirm, just in case we're not here or whatever. If we leave in a little bit. Just keep an eye on Houston's starting lineup, because take back everything I said about Londale if he starts. Yeah, I'll rank my favorite run backs. I just think you pick one of Van Vliet or Green. I might be a little higher on Van Vliet than maybe other people are, but I really like both he and Green. I love Amen Thompson, and that is a guy I'm running back. So I'm actually running back two of them. I like Jabari Smith, who's I thought was going to be lower on, but sort of picked up some steam. I don't love the Dylan Brooks thing. It's going to work so rarely, and it's just no real benefit to him for anybody to be out. He proves us all the time, and we still keep doing it. I don't think we need to keep doing it unless he's going to be low on. That's when I would do it, because he's going to at some point get 45 just because he's on the court so much.
Right.
But it's just I'm getting tired of it. It hasn't worked. But I think that's the way you write it. Guys, please, while you have a minute, please hit the like and subscribe and all that stuff. We appreciate the love. All right, so we should get these updates pretty soon, I think.
Champagne.
Not yet.
Johnny Davis.
I might already have a differentiator. If Thompson doesn't start, no one's going to play. I don't think he's going to get played either.
Who?
I don't think Thompson will be played very much if he doesn't start. It's Amen Thompson. But if he does start, he's going to be like 30% probably. All right, so I think it's going to be, crazily enough, I think it might be Johnny Davis is the best point per dollar. That's crazy. The other boost you get by not playing him is you get whatever non-pool minutes there are, you get them without. You get the Butler or whatever without Poole, at least for the first rotations. Probably. But yeah, Baldwin is going to be the best one, point per dollar, along it's going to be either he or Davis. I just don't project Davis at 30 though.
What'd you say?
I don't think they're going to project Davis for 30 fantasy points, which they do have for Baldwin. Maybe they will. It's a tough one. Rockets are starting Van Vliet, Green, Brooks, Thompson, Smith. Okay, so that's what we thought. Thanks, MJ. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, so same Rockets for me.
So I'm just waiting on this Washington projection, and that's it. I guess I'm going to get out of here.
Okay, I'll stick with it. I'll just say in our Discord, like who I've got in the end, just to say. Okay. I mean, look, it's going to look. I can tell you right now, it's going to look like Baldwin Holmes and what's it called? Davis are going to be the three that got like as crazy values. And the other guys are probably really good tournament plays now. Champagne, I have it. Champagne, Butler, Bernard, Gill. You could switch Bernard and Butler. I have very close.
All right, I'm going to run. I'll see you guys later.
All right, have a good one, man. All right, guys, I'll hang around for just a minute and just see if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, because it really is going to be the projection, but I think I just sort of said exactly what it is going to be. And I like the idea of trying all the love I had for playing Johnny Davis and wishing I could speculate. Now I love the idea of fading him and trying to play somebody else. But I'd like to get some sort of an idea from the projections before I decide what my final run is. But it's probably going to be, it's still going to probably be 4 Washingtons, 2 Houstons. And then I'm going to find maybe like a McCollum and Edwards to get different. Maybe I will go back to the Luka and Lively, who I think is going to get no ownership now. But Lively, not Luka. Luka will get tons of ownership. Luka will be the highest owned spend up by so many millions of miles today. Yeah, he's just going to be monster chalk. Which, again, I can't say it's bad. He's probably going to put up 70, and that'll be that. But maybe you can do something different with Kyrie and Vassell instead of Luka and another 4K. All right. Again, I'm going to remind everybody, please click the like button. We really appreciate doing these videos for free. We appreciate the traction that's picked up and that everybody's been in there. Everybody asks good questions. We've got a lot of good stuff going on. So please check out our packages. We've got some awesome deals out there, and I'm going to say good luck tonight, and I'll be in the premium Discord for those of you who are site members. Good luck, everybody. Oh, MJ's asking about Johnny Davis. No, Johnny Davis is so instead of being a typical 3 and D guy, he's a 0 on the threes and 0 on the D. He doesn't do anything well. He's shown nothing in his NBA career that he can do well. Not one thing. He was a lottery pick 2 years ago. This is exactly why they should be starting. They should have been doing this much sooner. If you're going to be tanking games, let's see what we have we can actually try to play. But we have just never seen that yet. So Johnny Davis has never been a do anything thing. he's really not. He doesn't. There's not. I haven't seen him do anything well yet. So that's where I'm at. But again, you have 9 bodies. You're starting in an NBA game. You're 3,600. It's not like it's a bad play no matter what. It's just interesting to try to find the pivot if things don't go the way that the projections like. So, but he is going to project probably just behind Baldwin. Maybe Baldwin and Holmes. That's definitely possible. Why did Kispert get a bump up? That is so weird. Come on. All right, I'll run one last check to see if we just don't have it yet. All right, guys, I'm going to say good luck. I hope you guys crush it tonight. And we'll see you guys at the top of the leaderboards in the Discord. And let's make some money, guys. Triple J with the double Champagny. That was what I was going to do earlier today, but I didn't end up there. Anyway, guys.